So we all know what good tonality sounds like on cold calls, right? It's very neutral. There isn't a lot of upward inflection in someone's voice, but it can be at times kind of hard to describe to people how their tonality should sound, right? Or at least it's mostly unconscious to the person, the tone that they're using when they're communicating with prospects. So I wanted to give a couple of examples of how tonality can impact the delivery of a cold call, and how those tonality differences can help to position you with higher or lower status in the eyes of the prospect, just based on how you deliver the words in the script, essentially. So if you think about, there are essentially three kinds of tonality, right? You've got rapport seeking tonality, which is kind of high pitched, a lot of upward inflection. Think about someone that's very new to sales that might be making their first sales calls. It almost comes across as if that person is singing to the prospect through the phone, right? We've all heard that before. Neutral tonality is one where think about how you might speak to someone that's been a friend for a very long time. Right? There isn't a lot of upward inflection or excitement in the voice. It's very even keeled. And then the final version of tonality is kind of rapport breaking, which is how a bad manager or boss might speak to their subordinates, right? Or an angry parent might speak to their child. So it's very almost like a downward inflection in tone at the end of a sentence, right? So as a salesperson, what you want to develop and cultivate is the ability to speak with a neutral tone to prospects. That's going to help to convey you with higher or equal status with the prospect, and is going to make them much more likely to engage with you. Right. So a couple of examples. Let me start with a rapport seeking tonality in a call script. So it might sound something like this, like, "Hi, it's Matt here from Right Channel. I haven't caught you at a bad time, have I?" "Oh, great, thank you. Look, yeah, the reason for my call is that we've found a way to help salespeople only call people that take cold calls, right? Resulting in generally 25 to 35% connect rates when cold calling. Typically 4 to 5 times higher than people might see normally. I was hoping to introduce that to you. Does that sound interesting at all?" Right. So you notice there's kind of like a lot of upward tone and inflection. It's probably not too dissimilar to how you might hear someone that's very new on the phone speak, right? Whereas if you were delivering this with a more neutral tone, designed to try to engage and engage the prospect and position you with kind of equal or higher status, it might sound something like this. "Yeah, hi, it's Matt here from Right Channel. Haven't caught you at a bad time, have I?" "Great, thanks. Look, the reason for my call is that I knew you'd answer the phone. That might sound strange, but we've developed a system that means salespeople only spend time calling prospects that they know take cold calls." Right. So notice the differences there. Right. One is very even keeled, very deliberate. The other is kind of all over the show in terms of pitch, in terms of upward inflection. And imagine yourself receiving those calls, and imagine which one of those people would you want to engage with. So make sure as a salesperson that you're listening back to the calls that you're making to try to uncover whether or not there's kind of too much upward inflection in your tone when you're speaking. If that's the case, then you're probably going to have a tough time cutting through to people, because they're going to perceive you as lower status. Right? It's like the unpopular kid at school trying to speak to the most popular kid. Right? There's going to be a lot of upward tone and inflection, like, "Hey, how's it going?" Right? Versus like someone that knows that person well, kind of speaking to them. So yeah, keep an eye on that as you're making cold calls, and that should help you to get on to more of an even keel with the prospect and help you get better cut through.